everybody. My name is Sarah Dunn. Welcome to FRL's speaker series. I'll give people a minute or so to log on. But as usual, we will do a Q&A at the end of this session. So if you have any comments or questions, just pop them into the comment section and then I'll moderate with our speaker, Linda, at the end. And then I'll also be posting a quick survey. It takes about 10 seconds to fill out. If you complete that, this announcement, but if you have any suggestions for future speakers or people that you would like to see come on the show, please reach out to myself or Nathan DeCray, also from the internal events team. All right, so today we have Linda Ricci, and she's going to be speaking on kind of the long-term future vision for AR and VR. Linda is the founder of Decahedralist Consulting, a boutique strategy and innovation firm with a passion for the intersection of business, technology, innovation. She works with companies large and small to define their future when emerging technologies are transforming markets. A recognized thought leader, speaker, and author around the subject of immersive tech and spatial computing, she is a mass communication graduate of Boston University. Linda received her MBA from Rotterdam School of Management, Erasmus University. Welcome, Linda.
Hi, thank you. It's quite a mouthful there. Not exactly pithy.
No
I
joke.
appreciate the introduction, Sarah. As Sarah said, my name is Linda Ricci, and for the past 30 years or so, I have been working with companies to understand the impact emerging technology is going to have on their businesses, and then develop the products and strategies to stay future competitive. Clients have included everybody from British Telecom to TDK Electronics, Fisher Price to Bacardi. It has ranged, it has been a lot of fun. I spent a few years also leading digital strategy at New York ad agencies, and I'm now speaking, writing, mentoring startups and accelerators, and I'm part of the R Lab in Brooklyn, which is an accelerator that focuses on startups in the immersive tech space, and I'm also writing a bit. I recently started a podcast with my co-host Sean Yoder called Talking Spatial, which I couldn't believe wasn't taken, and we're exploring everything to do with AR, VR, and XR, and we are having a total blast with that. Just for fun. I'm also a mixed media artist who's having a lot of fun exploring creating in the 3D space, particularly with Medium VR, which you guys now have, so I appreciate that. And then I'm rigging it in Blender, and I'm still learning a lot, but having a lot of fun with that. So why am I here today? Well, Sarah asked me to talk about my vision for where immersive tech is going in the next 5 to 10 years. Where I see the development going and what the impact of it will be. What are the opportunities that will emerge as a result as the technology starts to mature? It's just a little subject for 35 minutes or so. Well, no surprise. I think, in my view, the impact on and opportunities on society and business will be profound. Immersive tech, which is AR, VR, and the all-encompassing XR, or MR if you want, is on the cusp of revolutionizing how people around the world interact. I truly believe that AR and VR are the next leap in human experience, and I'm not overstating that. The term immersive technologies covers a lot of ground. For purposes of this discussion, I'm limiting it to AR and VR and whatever they become when they fuse into the generic XR. Similarly, I am keeping this to consumer applications versus enterprise for time's sake, because while fascinating and huge, no time. So, consumers. What is revolutionary about augmented reality? Well, it's going to develop way beyond lenses and living room furniture placement that we currently have. The physical world will become our painted canvas. It is going to be the water that we swim in every day, so integrated throughout our daily lives that we cannot imagine navigating our day without it, and so seamlessly that it's taken for granted. No more hold up the phone while you open the app experience. As surely as we see that picture on the wall in front of us, reality will be fungible. We will be served with information, interaction, assistance, social connection, beauty, all appearing seamlessly as we need or want, kind of magic. Now about virtual reality. As the web did, VR brings us the opportunity to instantly connect with people anywhere in the world. It breaks down geographical borders and completely flattens the world, making distance a non-issue. It has the power to take us on adventures, exploring faraway galaxies, to open our minds by letting us explore places that we've never visited, or be personal and intimate and emotional. Through VR, through avatars, social VR will allow people from anywhere in the world to connect, interact, and feel like they're standing next to anyone, anywhere in the world in real time. I love to say that it will be the end of loneliness. It is a true scourge of our society. Be anywhere, be anyone. How powerful is that? The important insight to keep in mind is that social media will be the grease that facilitates all of these connections, and immersive tech will facilitate that next generation interaction. So I'm going to approach this by talking about some trends of the past few years and extrapolating how they will play out in the next 5 to 10 years through the lens of immersive tech. There's four of them. There's real versus fake, or the blurring of reality. There's personalized versus opt out, or give me hyper personalized, contextually relevant content or data, or leave me completely alone. There's media versus experience, or why can't I experience my TV shows? And finally, retail versus entertainment, or keep me amused while I happen to be shopping. I don't think it is a surprise to anyone that in the next 10 years, we will be dealing with even more information coming at us than we do now, eventually moving towards an always on, never disconnected world. And this, coupled with the tools that will indistinguishably, I cannot say the word, indistinguishably blur the lines between real and fake, deepfakes, for example, will mean that the distrust that's already taken root against the media and authorities will only increase. I mean, if you can't trust your eyes or your ears, what or who do you trust? We are unfortunately headed for more, not less, tribalism as people turn to their trusted communities for comfort and authenticity. As technology helps us find and connect people with similar interests and outlooks, this will increasingly mean virtual tribes. Humans are tribal creatures. Our virtual tribes, enabled by constant communication and connection, and technology will ensure that they are always with us, and it will be a source of refuge and comfort. We will never be alone unless we want to be. Global networks of like minded people will connect and share over shared interests and goals. These connections will supercharge movements, paving the way for waves to sweep across the globe, both good and bad. The speed of life has dramatically sped up in the 20th century. Immersive tech will speed connection and its impact even more. Communities in VR will explode as people adopt VR, on the heels of it becoming the de facto tool for a geographically spread out workforce. Yes, I believe that's going to happen. I know Facebook's on it, so are others. Absolutely going to happen. Meeting and collaborating in the VR space is so much more conducive to efficiently working together that I just think it's going to be absolutely inevitable. The opportunity for immersive tech is to help ignite safe and productive connections, not just between people, but between communities. If virtual communities are the engines of trust, then creating an environment that facilitates sharing of ideas, product recommendations, grassroots movements will spur business growth too. Preventing walls from being too high will facilitate connections between communities who might otherwise put up a moat. It's a good for the planet and it's good for business to do so. On a side note, I remember years ago how Second Life became a series of islands with force fields, preventing anyone except those who were invited in from being there. And this isn't a good way to encourage a free exchange of ideas and goods. The opportunity for brands is to become a trusted partner as an activity rather than as a marketing slogan, a communication strategy, or a social media page even. This will be the most difficult mind shift, as it is, far beyond the traditional branding, positioning, communications paradigm. Social media has already changed the way consumers and brands interact, but the need to personify your brand as a living, not really breathing, but a lot like an interaction will take a letting go by a lot of brands. The second trend I'm going to explore is the personalization opt out paradigm, as immersive tech requires increasingly amounts of personalization to work properly. It will bring with it a next level set of requirements. Consumers are actually driving this one. No surprise, people are getting more demanding about the content they are served and have been since the advent of the digital revolution. As constant connectivity continues to develop, people will be swimming in information all day long, and this will increase a hundredfold with immersive tech becoming ubiquitous. AR's always on really does mean always on. And if a brand or device gets it wrong, they will be quickly banned from that person's life. So the need to get it right with personalized content delivered at the right time and the right place will become the price of playing. The opportunity for immersive tech is to proactively help people by becoming trusted gatekeepers and managers of this relationship. With AR, always on takes on a new dimension, and the delivery of contextually relevant information moves towards our field of view with viable AR glasses, probably 3 to 5 years. The need for content that is both personalized to the user and contextual to the situation will become paramount. Pulling data from content that already exists, so our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitch feed, is really contextual. Plus, it can make crossing the street pretty damn dangerous. So information will need to be pulled on a situational basis, sorted and delivered by an AI-driven personal concierge relevant to that moment. These personal digital concierges will help us manage the avalanche of information and communication that we'll be dealing with. A personal AI that sorts, manages, doles out information both contextually relevant to the situation and in line with our preferences. Similarly, in VR, this means brands will be introducing virtual humans as brand ambassadors to interact with people in virtual space, engaging in discussions, and eventually, with the help of machine learning and true natural language processing, actually talking to you. Virtual assistants will be the first rollout of these 3D people, although not in VR. Eventually, we will have brand representatives walking around our VR experiences, ready to interact as brand ambassadors. Here we have Bella from Soul Machines, which is a company focused on bringing artificial humans to the market. And now there is Mika from Magic Leap. Lest we think that virtual humans will only be young and pretty ladies, here's a few of the neon artificial humans. The challenge for brands lies with developing an engagement that is both brand consistent. And what does that mean? Irreverent, traditional, kawaii, cute. What does that mean in interaction? And on a long term basis, we're talking about a real personality here, personalized to the customer and uses the history of their interaction and what it knows about them to create a walking, talking, if not breathing version of their brand, but is sensitive to the circumstances which it's in. Being in someone's completely immersive world, which is really close and personal, and one misstep by a brand and they will get the boot. The next trend I'm going to briefly talk about is the media experience paradigm. In the next 10 years, the line between media, entertainment, and experience will continue to seriously blur. The blocks of storytime entertainment that we currently have will start to fade as people weave entertainment throughout their day. This passive unidirectional storytelling that is delivered through cable and television will move towards becoming a flexible, choose your own immersive story that people can take part of. The story will be the experience will be the story. The experience is personal, and the engagement is next level. This is a small, very silly, but fun example of where it's going. Bitmoji TV has brilliantly kicked this off with the ability to star in your own cartoon with your Bitmoji avatar. I had such a blast with this. And you can make it social with having your friends in the avatars in the same episode. The slogan they've adopted for this is perfect. Next level entertainment starring the most important social media personality of the 21st century, you. It's all going to be about the individual. This is Keanu Reeves starring in the soon to be released Cyberpunk 2077. And this isn't yet VR, but expect to be able to hang out with Keanu in VR experiences that are both a story and a game in a few years, blurring the line between entertainment and experience, and it's only just begun. The opportunity for XR is to facilitate people being stars in their own opportunity, in their own entertainment, to use the world as their stage, to use assets from the entertainment world or brand in their own creations, or immerse themselves in a VR environment where they can participate with friends and influence the experience together. This is my favorite slide ever. I always put it in something. The opportunity for brands is to overlay and integrate branded entertainment into people's daily activities. Within the decade, XR will be used to weave entertainment throughout the day and to serve as entertainment as experience, no longer serialized and delivered, but serialized and experienced. More individual control over the story, experience with friends, sharing the experience, although separated by physical distance. This takes brand affinity to a new level. Are you a fan of Sea Monkeys? Superimpose that over your world with AR. Want to experience it around? Visit the Sea Monkeys VR experience and take part in an episode that pulls its generated script from your personal favorites. Invite friends to join and create Sea Monkey experiences together. Brands and companies will have to work extra hard to be very creative to create extended brand consistent visuals and interaction, and be a lot more flexible about letting go of control of their stories. This takes storytelling into a completely new direction. But ultimately, consumers will expect to be catered to, and they will want the things they want, the way they want them, how they want them, and they will no longer stand for being passive participants. The third paradigm shift is the merge between retail and entertainment, closely related to the previous one, calling it retailtainment. I did not make that up. It's a good word, though. Large and expensive physical retail stores will increasingly lose relevance, and COVID hasn't helped with that. AR will completely change the way we shop, both in the physical store and outside of it. VR will create alternative shopping destinations that entertain and delight creatively. Both AR and VR provide the opportunity to integrate more of the storytelling, entertainment based experience to the shopping process, creating stories that entertain and happen to have things you can buy. AR will bring items into people's rooms, helping consumers make better choices and reducing expensive returns. They've already started doing that. Slowly, the AR will become permanent, enabling people to change up what they see in their spaces, should they so choose. Retailers will move from the physical showrooms to creating 3D retailtainment experiences in people's own spaces using AR, and that's an opportunity to have fun. I envision that within a few years, shopping experiences, whether AR or VR, will start to overlap with media and entertainment, instantly mirroring stores in the real world. Slowly but surely, they will turn into more fantasy game experiences with products woven throughout. You don't have to pick up an item off the shelf anymore, but use it as part of the story that you're following. Why not make a shopping trip through Gryffindor? And it will be a social experience with your friends joining you in the experience. So in-store AR can bring a personal touch with advice and added information. You know, for the mundane, which we know is already happening. So you find an item, you highlight nutritional information that's relevant to you personally, to the fun. Perhaps turning your shopping list into a scavenger hunt where you compete with other shoppers to find all the items for points. Intelligent AR will even be able to show you recipes that use the ingredients you pass in the aisles, combined with your preferences, dietary requirements, and a shopping list, and let you know what you're missing and might want to pick it up as well. Not to mention your smart fridge will order it for you, but that's another story. The socially connected shopping experience will be key. Shopping in a store will become a much more engaging way to incorporate those social tribes that I mentioned into the mix in real time. Following a keto diet, you can shop with friends of that particular tribe with pictures of the dinners they made highlighted above the ground beef as you pass it. Flick away those suggestions or see one you like. The AR will add its ingredients to your shopping list and where they are in the store. Can grocery shopping become a point stripping competition? Can you star in your own clothing shopping movie? Can you get news updates from your favorite source, from your favorite TV character, or your favorite child's toy? The answer to all of this will be yes, and both retailers and brands need to understand the shift that they will need to make to stay relevant. The opportunities to use social AR as part of an in store experience are endless. For VR, the opportunity is to create experiences that mix entertainment with shopping in ways that are creatively not possible without them. You know, initially they're going to recreate their store. Like the picture I have here is from the Dior store. It's from Paris. You can walk in it. So it's the actual store. But eventually they're going to start exploring alternative ways to embody their shopping experience in much more creative ways. Ultimately, is it a game? Is it a shopping experience? Is it a movie? These things will blur as consumer demand for entertainment and social connections throughout the day just increase. So there are many potential opportunities for brands. New revenue streams are possible from digital collections, items that can either choose to give away or as branding efforts, or release them as limited editions that are blockchain registered, unique pieces, complete with a secondary market for their digital items. This artist, who I think is a hoot, his name is John Orion Young, as Joy. He's a character-based contemporary artist, and he's doing just that. He's selling each one of his, one-of-a-kind digital creations on the blockchain, as you can see here, and there's apparently a roaring secondhand market of people buying and selling his work, which he only prices in Bitcoin. This particular item has been traded, I think it was 18 times. For brands, this will be an amazing opportunity for people to wear their apparel in VR, much like people wear clothes with logos in the real world. Virtually wear that dress you're eyeing up. Make it a Gucci, why not? And if you like how it makes you feel, have it delivered to your door or wear it to your next Altspace VR rave. Physical, virtual, what makes something real anyway? Why not both? And why not create a new revenue stream for products? Not only is it good financially, but it's an excellent brand strategy to be available across all the worlds. So, in conclusion, I see the next 10 years as being a bit about blurring reality with digital entertainment, with chores, work with play, business with fun. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, and natural language processing will fuel immersive experiences that are no longer limited to interaction with screens and typing, creating a personalized, multidimensional digital world that we can either superimpose over the one we have or experience in a full body immersion. Now, of course, there are some, the engineers are cringing right now. There are some serious challenges to overcome. I realize that. One of them is the concept of persistent identity in virtual reality, or how does somebody know that the person sitting across them who they are, particularly when people are going to be using the opportunity to try on different personas through their avatars, which is a raging discussion right now, whether, why be a human? You can be a mech and a robot. I mean, with a rabbit driving it. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and people are having so much fun with that. So decentralized identity is the key technology to track and verify identity in the virtual world. So watch this as the key component as the future's tech starts to be adopted. Brands will be challenged by transforming their brand and marketing to be about storytelling, deliver contextually relevant snippets, ideally with the consumer in the center. And as personal digital concierges start acting as gatekeepers, designing experiences that are both engaging and interacting and interesting enough to be invited in and to become part of someone's life. This is a whole new dimension of experiential marketing. Another critical issue, and it has to be mentioned, is the growing distrust and fear around tech, such as with eye tracking, biometric data, and facial recognition. The legal system is famously slow to address emerging technologies, and there is a justifiable fear and distrust around the collection, storage, and use of our personal data. The biometric data inherently needed to deliver an immersive experience is far greater than that used to cookie and track online data, and the pushback will be real, as Facebook has started to see with the Quest 2 launch. Standards for how the companies can gather, use, and store and share data are only now starting to become a discussion. And as a society, we need clear guidance and regulations on how these technologies are developed and used. Safety and trust are paramount for all tech situations, but are especially necessary for technology that is so integrated with our day to day experiences and close to our bodies and in our personal space. I don't think that these issues are insurmountable. A solution that equitably keeps both the rights of consumers at the forefront while working within the confines to deliver the experience for business results that companies desire is definitely achievable. Facebook has it within its power to drive this ethically. And a side note, I think you are. That's just my personal opinion. The linchpin lubricating the wheels of all of this is social networking. Our trusted communities and tribes will be woven throughout our day, all day, every day. Facebook and its other properties like WhatsApp, Instagram, the others are already leading the social network revolution, connecting people around the world. We will all belong to multiple communities, both in the physical world and increasingly in the virtual. So, what can a social network do to facilitate these communities interacting? The opportunities for social networks is to facilitate interaction between tribes. It's good for business and it's good for humanity. To summarize, blur the reality, enable the construct, and facilitate that fantasy. Keep doing what you're doing, and I love it. Thank you. That's it. That's more of my art, which is hilarious. If you'd like to hear more, my podcast, Talking Spatial, is currently available on YouTube. And I also really highly recommend, the guru, Kent Bye's Voices of VR. I can be reached at linda@lindaritchie.com. And thank you for having me. So are there any questions? I know I talked fast.
Amazing. Thanks, Linda. That was a record.
Fast. Very fast.
I'm just going to give people a minute or two and see if any comments come in. Doesn't look
Okay.
like just yet. What are you most excited about, though, with the future of XR?
Exploration. For me, I know this is hard to believe because I'm, 22, but I wrote my grad school application in 1989 when I was 3 on commercial applications for virtual reality. I am an artist, so for me, the opportunities to change the laws of physics and gravity and all that, and create things that are, from a personal perspective, it's that. From a professional perspective, I really do believe that the end of loneliness is a big deal. I think loneliness is horrible, especially, older people who are lonely and isolated. And this opens up so many opportunities for them to connect to other people and be with people from all over the place. And I think that's huge. I love the medical applications for VR. I just all of it. I just think it's fantastic. Truly amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we have a whole another aspect to consider that you were just mentioning at the end, the ethical part of like, how do you know who's on the other end of this?
Yeah, because people like to try on avatars like they try on clothes. And why not? You can explore different parts of your personality. It's a fascinating thing to me that putting on a physical, even though it's virtual, a physical, shell changes the way you feel and the way you act potentially. Like,
Mhm.
if you're a woman, you can be a man. If you're a man, you can be a woman. If you're a woman, you can be a fuzzy cat. If you want, you can do whatever you want. But it's just an amazing exploration of who we are, which has never been, an option really before.
Yeah, totally. Anoop says, thanks for the great talk. Can you share your thoughts on hardware? What is needed for hardware devices to be natural,
Yeah.
attractive, enticing?
Well, I think the goal for AR is to not have hardware really, or as little as possible. So right now the artificial, you hold up the screen and you see this little tiny piece of it. Eventually, of course, it'll move to glasses, and eventually those glasses will be contact lenses or other things, or BCI, brain computer interface. What we get while I'm talking out there. I think for VR, I love VR, but the headsets are still really heavy, and the field of vision is quite small. Um, So when they get to the point where it's just like, put on a pair of glasses and, you know, you can immerse yourself easily, because right now it's not really easy and it gets tiring. I mean, I see discussions all the time on artists, in VR groups about what's the most time you guys can handle this. Like, the average seems to be 3 hours before you just can't take it anymore. You get headaches. I just think the weight of the hardware, the vision, and just making it seamless, easy to go, hey, and that's what XR is. Of course, those glasses will do both. You can be passed through and you can be immersed. But I think the hardware needs to get just easier to use, just lighter and all that.
Yeah, totally. Aside from the ethical kind of what we were just talking about prior to this question, is there anything that scares you with the future of AR and VR?
You know, I'm a fairly optimistic person when it comes to this, but I see the realities of it's an enticing world. I mean, I think I've been writing a blog since 2012 on this stuff. It's at lindaritchie.com. And I wrote in, I think I saw Avatar, and it was, that 3D, they had invented this 3D movie technology. And it was beautiful. If you remember, it was colorful, and you were leaping from frond, frond to frond. I can't say that word, leaf to leaf. And there's little white squiddy things floating around you. And it was so beautiful. And I came home and I looked at my walls and I went, oh my God, reality is boring. And I think the enticement to just lose yourself in this alternative world, which is much more colorful, exciting, and you can do much more, is a strong one. And I do think there'll be, addiction to this stuff, just like there's addiction to everything else. But it's hard. It's hard to fight. I mean, even now when you take off the headset and the world is not nearly as hyper colored and pretty, um, real life looks a little boring in comparison sometimes. So yeah, I think that's a fear.
Yeah, I feel that. What got you started with the blog 10 or 12 years ago?
What got me started? I do business strategy, and there's no portfolio. So an artist can point to their art portfolio, an engineer can point to what they built, a computer person can point to the code they've done. There was nothing to point to. So I did it as a billboard for my thinking and what I do, so that people could, at least I could point to it and say, here's my thinking. And it's been good for that. I'm glad I did it. I haven't posted nearly as much as I said of in the last year or two, but um, it's a good basis for showing people how you think as a strategy person.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. Let me just check the feed one more time. Okay, very interesting. Thank you for the talk, says Brennan. Any other visions for future applications not related to business/commerce?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think as I said before, the potential for healthcare, I find fascinating. I find education, the opportunities in VR for education and long distance education and training, so you can use your hands and make things and learn how to do it before you get there. I think all of that, the enterprise applications for VR, I find amazing, especially the healthcare ones. I mean, I have some personal, reasons for that. My grandmother had Alzheimer's. There's incredible stuff for Alzheimer's treatment and helping people with Alzheimer's in VR. I mean, yeah, I think I hope that answers the question. I think they're all great. I'm sorry, I'm not being very critical.
No, no, that's totally fine. How did just to get a little bit more specific, how did the VR help with Alzheimer's?
Oh God, it helps people. It relieves it. It relaxes them, because it's a very frustrating experience, especially when you get to the point beyond where you're forgetting, right? So I watched my grandmother for 12 years. She went from an enormously capable lady to completely couldn't string a sentence together. But it was a very slow progress. And initially, she knew that she was doing funny and the things she forgetting things. But once you get past that point, you're kind of a living in the now. And they put VR headsets on people who are in that condition, and they show them either places they grew up or towns they grew up in, or they show them relaxing things like walking on the beach, like what they used to do. And the reaction is astounding. And the feedback on it has been that it calms them down to the point where the rest of the day they're much more relaxed and happy. It's a happiness tool. Who doesn't want everybody to be happy? I want everybody to be happy. And I think that's a great way to relax them, and make people, because it's a very confusing place to be in your head, I think, Alzheimer's. Um, so I just think that's fabulous. that's one of them. My PTSD treatment, desensitization to phobias, pain reduction. There's so many, and they're all amazing. It helps the human condition.
Yeah, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, wonderful talk. Thank you very much, Linda.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun. If anybody has any other questions and they want to reach out, please do.
And if you want to reach out to Linda, lindaricci.com, and I'll post that in the comments as well.
Great.
Um,
Thank you.
and hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.